Welcome to another episode of What About with Pat and Andy. I'm not Pat and he's not Andy. And this right here is the first time in a while I got that fucking intro right. So strap in because it's going to be a good one. The energy is starting out at a 10. And the man with me that's going to turn it up to 11. What's up? Please don't turn this off. It's him. It's the man himself, owner-operator of Baby Mermaid Productions, Patrick George. How you doing, buddy?
I always love when my intro starts with, no, wait.
Shut the fuck up.
Don't go anywhere.
My beautiful co-host, shut your fucking mouth.
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you doing? I've had a wonderful weekend so far. I'm a little sleepy, but other than that, I'm ready for the week ahead. How about you, bud? Are you ready to talk about some wonderful music today?
I am ready. I'm ready. I've been ready to do this all day. I got thrown off. I fucking slept 2 hours later than I planned, and I let it bother me. And I've been a big old grump all day. And then I hopped on, and I was streaming Call of Duty, which, if you guys don't know, if you're watching the replay on YouTube, we do these 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel. Link for it down below. But you can hang out early before that. I'll be playing Call of Duty or some other game. And, I went full. I let the grumps take control because I went full gamer rage because we were playing the Nazi zombies thing on Call of Duty. And the guy, you have to, like, unlock these doors and do all this other shit. And the guy had enough points and wasn't unlocking it. And I was getting genuinely angry. And I was like, I had a moment where I stepped out of myself and I was like, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
What are you doing? What is this like right now? You gotta get out of this. You're gonna talk about some Dave Grohl music with your buddy today.
Yeah. So I realized I was doing that with my good friend Patrick.
It's me.
And yeah, it's you. It's him. Oh, by the way, I'm really liking. I know you were saying the other day that Dom gets herself hot and bothered when you look like a dirty biker. So you've been heavy on the bandanas. We got a Slayer one today, buddy.
Yeah, Slayer today. I tried to fold it to where it just said Slay, which I thought would be really hilarious. But I'll figure it out eventually. I'm heavily dyslexic and a heavily learning disability. Undiagnosed so far. Undiagnosed since 1986.
I'm diagnosed, but all your day-to-day points towards its realness.
All the proof and none of the proof. That's me.
All the proof and none of the diagnosis.
But yeah, she's really into it. And you know what? It's really funny because I actually just wore one. I've been wearing a green one. I had a really sick setup last night. I was like, I almost did it. I was testing my Zoom on my laptop, and I was testing some virtual backgrounds. I was wearing a green bandana. I had my green screen on, and I had some flames, so it looked like I had, like, every time I moved, it looked like I had a flaming bandana on.
So you really let one compliment completely shift your personality.
If it's from my wife, yeah, hell yeah. If my wife goes like, I fucking love, not only do I fucking love that, but it makes me slip out of my chair, dude.
That's fair.
I'm gonna do it every day, every night. I don't give a shit if, like, the doctor told me, Pat, this is killing you. It's giving you cancer. I go, it's gets my wife hard, so I'm into it.
And people undervalue wife pussy, and it's pretty stupid because people don't want to hear about you banging your wife. Well, it's pretty fun. Try it sometime. Go get yourself a wife, bang the wife. It's pretty stellar. But we put enough of this.
They have to do it.
Put enough of this malarkey. You can see the label down below. We got a big topic to talk about. This has been a running discussion for the past couple weeks, and then we decided, now this originally, we do want to show honorable mention to Them Crooked Vultures. What's the album again?
It's self-titled.
Yeah, self-titled, Them Crooked Vultures. We want to do honorable mention because we originally said we were going to talk about that, but very quickly we came to the realization, it's like, no, it's a Dave Grohl. Yeah. We're talking about, and this is our first non-album episode, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, so we were gonna talk about Them Crooked Vultures, which I checked out. Pretty good album. Not the typical genre I would check out, but I was not unhappy with listening to it. There was some cool shit on there.
It's cool how those three guys, like, you know that Dave Grohl and the guy, the lead singer, guitar player Josh Homme, like, work together. He's from Queens of the Stone Age. It's very clear that he's the guy from Queens of the Stone Age. and the bass player from Led Zeppelin. So like those three, that's originally how the topic came up for them Crooked Vultures, was because we have, I don't want to say argued, because I know, I don't even want to say lack of a better word, because we can't even say debated. We have discussed this issue
Well,
on
it says
multiple
debate
shows.
below both of our heads right now,
Okay, perfect.
so
So
we might want to call it a debate.
okay, I've got just a zoom up right now, bud, right next to the chat. So I didn't see that. I appreciate you saving my ass there. That's a quick non-edit that we gotta do. No edit there. Pat's going on with the Slayer headband. I
No edit.
no edit. There there's a
I'm just like, Pat, I don't want to tell you, but you are 3 feet above the word debate right now.
don't
And
fuck this up, stupid. But that's the reason it came up, was because we were talking about the debate that we talk about with Dave Grohl is he one, should he be considered one of the greatest rock drummers of all time? And you brought up one person that I was like, oh, we have a direct comparison we could do. John, what is it? John Bonham.
John Bonham. That was the first one I just brought up that came to my mind.
Who's the drummer from Led Zeppelin?
Led Zeppelin.
Who is
And
not on Spotify. Not on Spotify. I just want everybody to know that Led Zeppelin's not on Spotify.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Pat, you're 2-0.
hold on. Let me look it up.
Led Zeppelin. I was listening to them this week on Spotify. That's how I listen to them.
Wait, 1D or 2? Which one were you listening to?
I forget the spelling, but I'm
Oh,
pretty
it's
sure.
not the Led Zeppelin?
Get out of here. You're not that old, dude. Knock it off.
Wait, no, an old person would know that.
That's fair, actually.
Booyah. Take your logic and shove it up your asshole. Yeah, they're on there. I look.
Yeah, dude, you literally just have to do LED, and then they got it for you.
Buddy, I tried to do it earlier, and I did not. I mean, now I was a little inebriated at the time.
Dude, that was your big like, hey, get this.
Yeah, that was my damning evidence. I was like, oh, well, John Bonham, who knows if he drums at all? I've never heard him.
There's no evidence of the man existing, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, yeah, we got him, Big Cream. Big Cream is pounding off hard in the comments right now. We know. No, yeah, it's fake news. They're in
It's
there.
fake Mads is telling you it's actually fake news. It's not real.
Yeah, there is definitely
Damn,
evidence.
dude, that is so fucking funny that you did that.
What? Thought they weren't on Led Zeppelin, they weren't on Spotify.
You just went. Here's the funny thing: Led Zeppelin not on Spotify.
Hey guys, breaking news. Hey Andy, edit.
No edit.
No, edit. Go ahead, give me an edit right there.
Fuck, dude, that was so funny. So no, the I gotta be honest. Listening to Dave Grohl all this week, I wasn't excited to not say nice things about him. I don't even think I'm gonna say bad things about him.
Mhm.
I just think when you said my main gripe or whatever the fuck, I'm trying to find an adjective that doesn't come off aggressive. Because here's the thing. When you listen to Dave Grohl all week and you watch Dave Grohl related content, this thing happens where you end up loving Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Right.
He's the fucking man. And yeah, I'm thoroughly in love with Dave Grohl. I watched like a 60 minutes of him. He's just a sweetheart. He has a very gentle voice. He's just nice. He's funny.
It's
He's
like
a good
watching
dude.
John Cena. It's like watching John Cena. Anybody that, like, if you know anything or you do research on John Cena, like, even if you're like wrestling's like weird, man, I don't know, it's weird, and like this, you're like, he kind of, he holds records for being a nice guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's such a good way to put it. He does have like the Guinness Book of World Record for being the nicest guy.
Right. Like, and like, they're one of those things of like, I'm sure they tried to give him the award and he was like, no, thanks. And they're like, God damn it, man. Like, you want another one? Shit.
Which, by the way, I'm not making a joke. I think he has the world record for most Make-A-Wishes in a year.
Yeah. That's what I was referring to. Like, I legitimately, when I found that fact out, I was like, fuck, John Cena's awesome.
Dude, John Cena's the man. Like, dude, the funniest, and he's funny too.
Mhm.
He's just a funny guy. Like, I was watching the best clip ever from that the show his ex-girlfriend did, the Total Bellas.
Mhm.
They're two twins who wrestled in WWE.
No, I'm familiar.
Oh yeah, they're
I mean,
plus.
I like, and just like
It's
just
stupid.
and I totally
It's
understand.
fucking stupid.
It's crazy,
It's
right? Like
crazy, dude. Right?
it's not even of this world. Like it was when I saw those, like it's I'm not even I'm not even objectifying. They're beautiful. Like they're like pieces of art. They're
Yeah,
like
dude. That's you
they
get that a
seem
lot.
unreal. They
You
seem very much unreal.
Bro, you get that a lot with wrestling in general. Like they have a bunch of women on the roster that like they'll come out in their ring gear, and it's
All due
like
respect to my wife, by the way, who I love to plow. We established.
we've established plowing her your favorite thing.
Yeah,
No, but also my wife, I also love to plow. We love plowing wives here.
absolutely.
And but no, you see some of the girls walk out, and it like it doesn't even you have that response where you just go, what the fuck,
You're like,
dude?
wow. Damn. And then you see them, and then you see. I don't know. Okay. So I don't know if the Bellas. I don't know if the Bellas are they like really talented wrestlers? Like, do they fly? Like, do flippies and stuff? Or
They're not bad. So the general like the controversy or whatever the fuck you want to call it is from the fact that like while the Bellas were kind of coming up, one of them started date. I saw that look. One of them started dating John Cena.
mm-hmm.
So then everyone immediately, because they're not bad at wrestling, they're talented. They're like it's like people always go to the like, oh, they're just hot or they just fucked their way to the top or blah blah blah. And you're like, even if that's true, let's say all of that, you're 100% right. They only got it because they're hot. They only got it because they started banging John Cena. It's like that'll get you the 1 or 2 times on TV. But the thing that keeps you coming back to TV is fucking being very talented and shit. So they may not be, like, from a technical standpoint, they may not be, like, the greatest wrestlers in the world. I honestly can't remember because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
But, like, they're definitely, like, generally speaking, as wrestlers, they're very talented.
I think that's the thing is with them. Like that's obviously how I heard of them, I guess, through him. Like he's married to one of them, and then there was some kind of controversy where they were supposed to get married and didn't get married, and then all this other shit. But like every time I think I've seen them on I saw them first on like a interview with Kevin. They did an interview on Kevin Hart's YouTube show.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, these I was like they're like,
was that the one where they were sitting in ice?
Yeah. They do the ice bath or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit. I was like, they're actually like, they're like funny. They're like pretty cool. Like whatever. Like I can see how I thought maybe there were more personalities. I know that they weren't like, what is it? Like ring managers, like ring girls or whatever.
No, they're wrestlers.
They're wrestlers and stuff like that. I was like, oh, it kind of sucks that like, that's what they're known for because if they had to have been somewhat good, right?
Yeah. No, I think they were pretty good.
But
there's definitely some, because like back when they first started, the Divas division wasn't that great in general. So there are some clips of them like that are pretty rough, but there's clips of every female wrestler then that are
everybody's
like rough.
So
Matt, go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So that's the thing is you can see why she gave him so many chances or whatever. I don't know. This is actually a good point. Did you, by any chance, in your research this week, did you do any research into what Dave Grohl's wife looked like or fiance or whatever?
No, I didn't.
I'm gonna look that up while you say what you were about to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Mads was asking us if Mads in the chat. He was saying, "Have you seen Foo Fighters Back and Forth?" No, is that the thing on Vice? Because I know Vice does stuff called Back and Forth. They had one with Danny Brown and A$AP Rocky I watched that was really fucking funny. Oh, but so what I was saying before, with
she kind of looks like Steph.
Does she?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Do you want me to share the screen?
No, I'm looking at her.
I mean, not not a spitting, like not the exact, but like she kind of like could be related to.
Maybe she's got like a Gwyneth Paltrow thing. No, not Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh fuck, I love her, but I forget her name. She was on that. I forget her name.
Now who sounds old? I love her, but I can't remember her name. Wow.
I always fucking forget her name. She was on that HBO show.
Laura Dern?
No, she was on the show with Laura Dern though.
Yeah.
Laura Dern. She's cute, by the way. I like Laura Dern. I think I like Laura Dern because her character on the show I'm trying to think of was great.
Yeah.
It was like I don't know. I get a hard one for powerful women.
Yeah. I was talking about that with the about
Oh, Big Little Lies.
who. So Renee Zellweger? No, Renee
No,
Reese Witherspoon.
no, the older one.
Jesus Christ, I'm naming like almost
Nicole
three.
Kidman. Nicole
I said her.
Kidman.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
you didn't hear me when I said that.
No, you didn't. You didn't say Nicole
I
Kidman.
did.
All right, Pat, there's a bunch of beautiful women in the world, but there's one beautiful man that we came here to talk about. We got to focus.
I brought it back to Dave Grohl. I remember I asked you last week, Andy, what about Dave Grohl's drumming on them Crooked Vultures self-titled album?
Oh, no. But, so the main discrepancy we had, like you said earlier, I brought up John Bonham and stuff like that, and then we were kind of talking, because you brought up the whole, one of the greatest rock drummers ever.
Yeah.
And like listening to it, and this is why I wasn't like there was a weird part of me that wasn't excited to talk about this. Like I said, with all like how much I was loving Dave Grohl, the more and more I was like checking his shit out this week.
Mhm.
And it literally, I want to make it very clear. I'm literally like if you were to say like this is the minor detail that I'm debating. If you were to say like top 10 drummers, like top 10 rock drummers, I would say no. If you were to say top 20, I'd still probably say no. But if you said like, is he in the top 50 rock drummers? I'd be like, yeah, probably.
I don't know. I don't know if you could name. I don't know. I think if he doesn't make the top 10, I would understand. But I think he would be in the teens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's that far off. I don't think he's going to be that. I don't know if you can name 19 or even 21 drummers better than him or what. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you.
Well,
you know
so here's what
that's my aspect, I guess.
No, I feel you. But like, that's the thing. You're literally going, he's probably like 15. And I'm like, yeah, he's probably like 45. Like, that's literally what we're debating.
Yeah.
And it made me realize like how fucking stupid this episode even was to like have a fucking like debate.
I guess that was the thing. Was you said John Bonham, and I said, yeah, he should. I guess that's the thing. So do you think John Bonham is in top 10, top 20, top whatever? You know what I mean? Like, where do you think John Bonham would be?
Yeah, I'd probably put him in like top 20.
So then that's my point. Is like, yeah, I think Dave Grohl is also in top 20. So in that case, in only those ratios, no edit, you can say that you were absolutely convinced by my argument and overturned, and you agree with me now. He is on par. Your opinion of John Bonham and my opinion of Dave Grohl match.
That's not what I was debating.
Yeah.
I knew that's what you meant.
Because that was the thing. Because I said listen to John Bonham and listen to Dave Grohl, and just tell me that they're not like they're as good.
That's literally different than what you just said.
Well, I'm saying the rankings. Like you said in the top 20, I said in top 20. My opinion.
No, Pat. What you just said was agree that your opinion of John Bonham is the same as my opinion of Dave Grohl, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not debating that. I'm just
as far as the rankings of top rock drummers. You think John Bonham's in the top 20? I think Dave Grohl's in the top 20. We agree. Perfect. You don't get me. You don't get me. That's all it is.
Buddy, I don't want to fucking call you names, but you're a fucking silly boy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
Did you see the bandana? I mean, I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, see, no, that makes you an outlaw. Silly boys. As an outlaw, you should really adjust your behavior if you're gonna keep wearing those bandanas, because you're being a silly fucking boy.
Oh, see, Ron's just trolling in the fucking
If you take
comments.
away charming personality, okay, so Ron says if you take away charming personality, is he still top 50? And I think so, because now something you said last time, I thought about, because I don't listen to Dave Grohl shit that much, because he plays in a genre that I don't like partake in often. So I was listening to literally this was another thing on Spotify that you probably didn't think was on Spotify. Someone made a play. I was making this playlist of like, I'm going to make a playlist of all songs Dave Grohl has drummed on. Then I'm like, that's probably already a playlist. It was, pulled it up, was listening to him a bunch. And cause I was really fixated on, you also said Dave Grohl is one of the most prolific rock musicians. And
no, musicians.
I'd have to think about that one more. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I haven't thought about it. But as a rock musician, after listening to a bunch of his music this week, and sort of like you were telling me about that one album he did where he would get one musician for every song and then play all the other instruments, all that shit. I've been listening to a bunch of Dave Grohl. I would 100% agree he's one of the most prolific rock musicians because the quantity and the quality of what he puts out is very impressive. And like the drumming that he does on all these albums, it is like Dave Grohl. If you're looking at it from like a studio musician standpoint, like let's just say Dave Grohl's a studio musician, he would be like, as a rock drummer, he would be in very high demand because he's very worth his fucking paycheck. Because like everything he does, he hits everything you're gonna need to do to what's the fucking word I'm looking for?
He hits in the gaps.
He checks off everything on the list of like, if we want to play this type of rock song, Dave Grohl is going to give you what you need. He's like the most consistent rock drummer, and yeah, that was very impressive. So with the high number of shit he's pumping out, that's why I would definitely agree with him being one of the most prolific rock musicians of all time.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's the thing is Ron brings up a great point. If you take away his charming personality, he's still top 50. But like in that, if that's the criteria we're talking about, what the fuck's John Bonham's fucking personality? Do you know what I mean? Like then he's fucking top 500 maybe.
Well, I think
we're going on personality. Like what
no. He's literally not going on personality. You read that wrong.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like but you add John Bonham's personality, wouldn't that take away fucking points with him? Like he wasn't necessarily the most charming fucking dude ever. So if we're throwing personalities in there, I think that takes John Bonham points away. Nobody wanted to hang out with that dude. He stunk and didn't he choke on his own fucking puke? Who the fuck wants to hang out with that dude? He probably stunk. But Dave Grohl smells nice and he fucking rocks. Fuck you.
You're wild, Pat. You're a wild boy. Didn't he choke on his own puke? What a lame hang sesh that would be.
What a dork.
You're a wild boy. You're living up to that bandana, baby. You're a fucking outlaw. Outlaw Pat. New name.
Honestly,
outlaw.
And I want this to be known. I do not speak on Dave Grohl's behalf. He would probably not agree with anything I'm saying.
Oh yeah, Dave Grohl would not be our friend.
He probably knows, and that's the thing. He is he's more knowledgeable in rock than either one of us combined. And he would go, no, John Bonham was a fucking intellectual guy that read a lot of books, and he would be a wonderful conversation. Fuck you. I don't know. Fuck him. He's dead.
Outlaw Pat.
Don't edit that out either.
Yeah, I don't know, because here's the thing. Like, if we're being real about like best drummers to ever do it, there's drummers we've never heard of that could smoke Dave Grohl and John Bonham.
Ron and I were sending videos back and forth through Instagram, and it was like and we were sending each other even like drummer reaction videos, like drummer reacts to listening to whatever drummer for the first time. And he sent me I can't remember, it's Tool's drummer.
Yeah.
Drummer reacts to hearing that or watching that video. And then I sent him the drummer from Between the Buried and Me. And then I found out Ron hadn't heard Between the Buried and Me before. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you should check out this album and the blah, blah, blah. Like, so that's the thing is like we both say, you know, we're just saying two celebrity drummers, really. That's what we're saying. We're saying celebrity drummers. Because I just said the drummer from Between the Buried and Me. I don't know his fucking name.
Yeah.
And I sent a video to Ron. I have a link of his name at my fingertips. It's right there. I probably could look it up. And I don't fucking care. I don't know his name.
Ooh, you know what's funny too?
But he's great.
You know what's funny too is I actually, as I was watching videos of Dave Grohl, there's like a 60 minutes where he's talking to Anderson Cooper, and Anderson Cooper literally asks him, he goes, do you think you're one of the, he's like, people say you're one of the greatest drummers to ever do it. And Dave Grohl point blank goes, I would disagree with that. And I was like, even Dave Grohl agrees with me.
And then, but then you're like, fuck, I want to vote him. He's fucking great.
Yeah, you're like, he's the best. He's
Yeah.
the fucking best. But no, like, listening, Dave Grohl has been a part of some great fucking bands. That's why I gotta like reiterate like most prolific musician.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to
That's my bigger point. Like that's my biggest thing is like I know we this discussion started with drumming, but like ultimately, I feel like and this is a thing that like I don't know. Is it white knighting or whatever? I don't. He doesn't need me to argue for him, but I do think that Dave Grohl gets a fucking bad rap because of people don't like it. Like people are like, oh, it's just Dave Grohl. They think that he's just another fucking whatever. Like he's not somebody that is just some pop star. He's not somebody that doesn't like put meaning or thought into it, and he does so much that you don't even fucking know. He's not just the Foo Fighters guy. He's Foo Fighters. He's also this. He's also Queens of the Stone Age, Probot, Tenacious D, fucking every other. And then also like any other, like you said, if you just go into a YouTube rabbit hole and see how many people he performed with Paul Stanley on his birthday. Paul Stanley came out from Kiss and played with him on his birthday, Detroit Rock City. He's a huge Kiss fan. And I heard about that video. Actually, it's funny. I was hearing about other people talking about listening to Dave Grohl videos this week as well.
yeah.
It's just in the fucking air right now. It's like for some reason the Dave Grohl debate maybe gets trudged up every couple of years, and I just feel like I have to be a soldier for Dave.
Well,
And just let everybody know, no, dude, he's fucking incredibly talented and he deserves his celebrity. I guess is like I feel like he's earned it with talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. General talent. He's definitely earned his. Well, I think you get a lot of things sometimes. Like a lot of people, like I saw this one dude bring it back to wrestling. They'll be like, oh, Undertaker. What the fuck was it? Oh yeah, Undertaker and Mankind. The Hell in a Cell. They're like, it's one of the greatest wrestling matches ever, and you're like, as a wrestling fan, you're like, well, actually, from a wrestling standpoint, it's not that. It's actually not that great of a match.
There's not a lot of wrestling. It's just throwing.
Yeah, no, it's one of the
off and through things.
Yeah, it's one of the craziest stunts ever. But like from a wrestling standpoint, it's a okay match. You know, but like all people know about, like if you don't watch the thing a lot, you look at that and you go, oh yeah, that's the greatest one. So I think it's like, I think people have similar feelings for this one.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know if I made the perf, but you get what I'm saying, right?
No, yeah. It's the thing. It's the people remember him for the wrong reasons, or like they don't like Foo Fighters, and that's another thing. I'm not like I think I said that multiple times. Huh.
I don't mean to cut you off, but Mads goes, "Who the fuck is saying he's not a talent?" Mads, you must not walk in the pretentious punk rock circles me and Pat do.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! Like everybody.
Like he knows a fourth chord. What a fucking sellout!
It's so frustrating because it's like he is such a guy that, like you said, like if you said like, oh, you're one of the greatest rock musicians of all time, he's just like, whatever. Like I don't give a shit. Like fine, yeah, maybe. Like
I also think too,
he knows that builds to it, which makes him a perfect like personality and talent for that same genre. Like I don't know. I just think people hate him for one thing that they know him for and don't actually realize, like, it's like Tom Brady. Oh my God, that's a parallel for you. It's like fucking Tom Brady. Everybody, you can say you don't like Tom Brady. You can say that whatever, but you can't fucking say he sucks. He just made it to his 10th fucking Super Bowl. He just started with a brand new team this year, first time ever, and just goes like, yeah, boom, hey, boom, Super Bowl. Yeah,
I saw that on Twitter, by the way. I'm like someone making a comment being like, "Oh, I guess Brady can make it to the Super Bowl without Belichick," and I'm like, "That's so goddamn funny." Yeah. Like Tom, it's just because like I bet you that has something to do with why why he like kept playing and shit, because there's just so much, because everyone tries to find a reason, like people being like, "Oh, Deflategate" and blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, all those are true, but I still think he might be like the greatest QB ever or whatever. You know what I mean? And he's just like, oh, okay, fine. I'll go to another goddamn team and still do it.
Yeah, what else do you need me? Oh, I'll go to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, great. They're in the Super Bowl now. Like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Yeah. You're welcome. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even understand. Like, yes, it's a team
People are
effort, but like they didn't have Tom Brady last year, and they weren't in the Super Bowl last year. You know who was in the Super Bowl last year? Fucking Tom Brady was probably in the Super Bowl fucking last year because he's
people
there
are
every fucking year.
people are phonies too, because no matter what city, it's the same thing with LeBron. People hate LeBron, but if LeBron came to play on your team, you'd be fucking buying every jersey of his in every color.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like, if Dave Grohl, if and that's what I'm saying is if Dave Grohl was in your band, in your favorite band, or contributed in your favorite band, or was a producer or something like that, the next album that came out would probably be one of your favorite albums that they put out.
Yeah.
I would feel confident betting money on that. And that's what I'm saying is he will just let him show you, and he has that. He's very patient, and he could have been a crazy, like whatever the bass player from Nirvana did, that weirdo, and then the bangy shotgun mouth, what happened to him. He got way too much credit, and he was nowhere near as good as fucking Dave Grohl.
Yo, if you want to hear a real interesting take on Kurt Cobain, check out. You ever listen to Last Podcast on the Left?
I've heard of it. I have not listened to it. No.
It's very good if you're into like any of that serial killer, paranormal activity, conspiracy theory, like that general realm. It's they talk a bunch about that shit, and then like two of them are comics, and then the other dude's just their producer friend. Well, no, he's not just the producer. He does all the like prep work. He does the most prep work and shit, but he's also funny. So it's just like funny dudes talking about that kind of shit. But they do an episode on Kurt Cobain, and it's very interesting because it sort of takes the perspective, because like every time you see Kurt Cobain, they like, they glorify him, and I think he was an incredibly talented musician, but they have more perspective of just looking at him as a real person, and they're just kind of like, he was a great musician, but he was also a heroin addict in his 20s. Like, he was probably a lot at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To put it lightly.
Yeah, and with who also suffered from depression and anxiety and all these other things, and also just overall, the thing that really frustrated me, and I'm sure it's something that I'll understand as I mature more, but I still don't fucking get it. But like how he so desperately seeked fame, and then when he got fame, he was just like, me. I was just like, fucking shut up, you whiny bitch. Every documentary I've seen is him like writing stuff in his notebook, going like, I want to be famous. I want to be so huge. I want to be a fucking rock star. And then you're a fucking rock star, and you can't even fucking fake it, you dipshit. You know what I mean? Like, and then the heroin, then the depression. Yeah. I know. And it's also like he was living his dream. And it's so strange to me that I don't know, like, did Kurt or did Dave Grohl or
Chris Novoselic?
Novoselic?
Yeah.
Chris Novoselic, did either one of them intervene and go like, hey man, we really care about you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I don't remember that from the documentaries that much.
I would probably assume, because like if you go back,
you're right. Is what I'm saying is like maybe he wasn't, like maybe they didn't really like him that much.
Oh no, I wouldn't agree with. I would guess, I wouldn't say that, because I would guess it'd be more of a thing of like, because like if you look back and look at footage of Dave Grohl in fucking Nirvana versus Dave Grohl now, it's two completely different human beings. So it was probably like, Dave Grohl's probably also a rocker who's drinking a bunch and doing drugs, and he probably cares about him, but whatever his version of fuck it, I don't know. You know what I mean? What am I trying to say?
I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying that like it could be that he was like you're saying, like a heroin addict in his 20s. They might have just been like, a couple times like, hey, kind of like the same story with the guy from Sublime. Like after a while, they're probably like, all right, just let him do his fucking thing. Like,
oh
he shows up. You know what I mean? After a while, he might have just been a handful. Like, not that he was a bad person for anything. I'm just saying that.
I hear what you're saying. No, that's definitely that sounds like it's probably true.
He was a 20-year-old that was doing a lot of fucking opiates and sharing a lot of opinions.
Well, and also too, like we've all had that friend where you want to like, you maybe try to help them or whatever, and then they just keep doing the same thing, and you just like Just end it all. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
no, 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 no.
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 I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's teetering. He's teetering.
But no. You've had that friend where you try to like give them your opinion, and after a certain point, you're like, all right, fine. Like you don't have to take it, but if you're not gonna, I'm not gonna keep trying.
Right. Yeah.
Mads asked. He said he missed before. Did you say you saw the back and forth? No, we did not. I've never seen the Dave Grohl back and forth.
I've not. No.
So yeah, I think we've gotten to a conclusion. Even me, I don't necessarily think Dave Grohl would be in the top 20. Oh, by the way, I still have other drummer things I wanted to talk about after doing my research this week. But no, I think we've gotten to a point. We both agree Dave Grohl, one of the most prolific musicians, and without a doubt, you think in top 20, I think in top 50, greatest rock drummers of all time.
That's fair.
I could be swayed after more, looking more into it, but that's where I stand at right now.
I think if we got to jam with him, we would say he's number one, and we would probably try to suck his dick. I think that's how much we would love it.
He's not leaving there with the cum he brought with him.
You better I'm draining them balls right now, buddy. Thank you so much for everything.
So, the couple things I wanted to bring up. One, I was listening to your GDP where you were talking about some of this stuff on Monday, which if you guys don't know, check out Pat's show. Every was it Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Yep, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Facebook Live on the Gross Domesticated podcast page, and also Baby Mermaid Productions on Instagram Live.
And I know Mads is a English. I got some people from across the pond, so that is Eastern Standard Time. So whatever.
Good day, mate.
Whatever you. Good day from London town, mate.
Hello, it's so nice to see you.
So whatever you use to figure out when my streams start, use that, but then go earlier for Pat's.
You see that we voted the other guy? Do you like it again? Please.
But no, you were talking about it, and you had some interesting things you were saying about like drummers and stuff. And I remember you brought up the drummer from Weezer, and I remember when I saw Weezer. Oh wait, he was saying about the back and forth. It's a brilliant watch, has a take on the things you're talking about here, about Kurt and about the Foos. What he actually does for the band, etc. It's a great watch. Well, we'll have to check that out. Back and forth with the Foo Fighters.
I'm writing that down.
And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so some of the first thing you said, you were talking about Weezer, and I remember you were asking, you're like, wait, is their drummer any good? And I'm like, I saw them when I was in college because the radio station at college I worked at had free Weezer tickets, and no one fucking listened to the fucking Kutztown College radio station, so I got free Weezer tickets. And we went to, and I remember they played fucking Hot for Teacher. And I'm like, they played not the whole song, but they played part of Hot for Teacher.
They played the hardest parts.
Yeah. So I was like, he's definitely a good drummer if he played fucking the drum part for Hot for Teacher. So I double checked it and I watched the YouTube video. He's not a good drummer. He's a good guitarist because he gets off the drums and they bring out Josh Freese. Who, if you're not familiar with him, he's actually. So I looked up Josh Freese, and then naturally, you ever hear of Brooks Wackerman? You may know him from being in Bad Religion.
Okay.
He was Bad Religion's drummer for a while.
Yeah. He was probably earlier on, right? Like in the late 2000s or mid 2000s, maybe.
Yeah. Like early 2000s or whatever.
Okay.
So I was looking these dudes up, and they're basically, or Josh Freese, I believe. He's big for being in the Vandals, and then like Guns N' Roses, A Perfect Circle, Weezer, like I said, Sublime, which you brought up earlier, and then Brooks Wackerman. He's been in. What the fuck? I think he was in like Avenged Sevenfold. Oh, Tenacious D as well as Dave Grohl.
Yep.
Suicidal Tendencies.
Big flair bands, like a lot of flair in those bands. A lot of
so like these dudes are basically like, it was just cracking me. I just thought it was like funny to bring up because if you look into these dudes, I was looking at their like discography and shit and all the shit they've played on. And besides the big bands I mentioned, they've also played Like I think both of them played one song for Avril Lavigne. They're basically like the punk rock Dave Grohls,
Yeah.
or like if you're thinking fucking because the one dude, what was it? He was in A Perfect Circle. He's like the prog rock Dave Grohl.
Yeah. There's it's the funniest thing. Like when I found out that the Vandals were like very good friends with No Doubt. When I was younger, when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit, a band that I love that I don't think anybody else has ever heard of, and another band that like I found out basically because of the radio and MTV and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like No Doubt was cool. Like I was a fan of their E True Hollywood Story. I like all that shit. Like I knew I was a big No Doubt fan as far as popular bands
Well,
go.
it sucks too, cause yeah, everyone was a No Doubt fan, and fucking it just stinks, cause like Gwen Stefani kind of stinks now.
Yeah, she really stinks. It sucks. I feel bad. I still like her. I still like now. That's almost a difference. Like her personality kind of saves like all the shitty music choices that she makes. Like I don't listen to Gwen Stefani music anymore, but I don't
Oh
hate
no,
Gwen Stefani.
well, so I get because you know the band Bush.
No, who are they?
They're like a
Of course I
English. Oh,
know. Breathe in, breathe out.
oh, I didn't know about them till I met Steph.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That wasn't like a genre I ever listened to.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. Because,
Maybe
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
maybe I knew the name. I couldn't tell you one song of theirs, but I
know
didn't know.
Gavin Rossdale. I know their hits. I don't want to bring you down to this time. Something like that, right?
I think the one's called like Glycerine or whatever. They're good. They're good. We actually saw them live, and I had a fun time.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But so he used to be married to Gwen Stefani, so I know a lot about the Gwen Stefani drama because Steph's a huge Bush fan. She keeps up to date on Gavin and all that shit, and like. No, dude, like recently, because they haven't been together in a while, but they have kids together. And I guess recently, Gwen Stefani fucking posted, because her husband now is like that country dude on The
Blake
Voice
Shelton.
or what?
Yeah.
So she posts this picture of like Blake Shelton with Gavin Rossdale's kids, and she's just like, "Happy Father's Day," and I'm like, "You know what you're doing, you wacky bitch. You're just trying to piss people off."
Maybe I don't like Gwen Stefani anymore. Holy shit, that's not cool.
Well, dude, I think
Because they have kids. They have a kid too. Her and Blake Shelton have a kid.
Yeah, but she had like Gavin's kids in it. It was like, but like she's a little bit of a fame whore, so she definitely does shit to sort of like stir the pot. It's real funny.
Hold on. That sounds like that's BANANAS, buddy. She is not a fame whore, okay? She likes to keep it low key.
Are you quoting more Gwen Stefani lyrics?
I don't know. Maybe is that a song? I don't know.
The way you said
with Gwen stuff. Yeah, it does sound kind of like it would be another one of her.
The way you said low key.
No, it's just holler back, girl.
Well, you know what's funny about you were saying about they did the Vandals cover. Wasn't that like I know they blew up off of what was the fucking album? Tragic Kingdom?
Dude. I'm gonna listen to that one.
But like their cover,
suggestion or not, I'm already listening to it.
It was really funny. Like their cover of "Oi to the World" like got them a lot of eyes. Like before they blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then what the fuck else were you? And also my searches. I ended up on a bunch of videos about Ringo Starr.
Oh man.
Ringo Starr's funny because he's another one that like not on the same level as Dave Grohl, but actually I think on a different level because he's like in one of the most famous, biggest, most influential rock bands of all time, and like his drumming is debated so much. And I was watching a bunch of it, and it's like he's one of those just great drummers who just knows what to play. Like he's not overly flashy, but I've seen this a million times. My favorite thing I hear whenever people are talking about Ringo Starr, they always bring up when he does fills, he leads with his left hand. And it's just because like it's the thing everyone says, and you don't want to be on video shitting on Ringo. And they like when people are talking about why they like Ringo, they really, really fluff it up. Because the two things I noticed, it was the fills. So it's like, so Ringo's left-handed, which I want to say this as a drummer, I don't believe in right or left-handed because you're playing with both hands the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it if you're left-handed because I'm left-handed and I played like. I like just the normal way to do it. But like people look at that as right-handed because you're using your right hand to do the cymbals and you're doing a little bit more work. But I don't know. At the end of the day, you're using both hands on like a whole spectrum of surfaces. So
Yeah,
I don't
because
really.
you can't really set the hi-hat up in the middle, really, unless you have your snare
Well, no,
over
you would
here,
just do it.
and you would just do your fills like this way.
You would just do it reverse. You would just set everything up reverse, and that would be left-handed. I never did that because, like, when I went to go do drum lessons, it was in this like tight studio space, and I wouldn't just make the guy switch the drums every time.
Yeah.
But and then also too, like when I was in a jazz band in high school, everyone else was playing the normal way, so like I couldn't make them switch the drums. It was just way more convenient to do it.
It's jazz, baby. You can play it any way you want.
Oh, but like because Ringo was left-handed, he would play it left-handed.
That makes it sound like you're trying to say he's gay, because he's left-handed. Like, no, you don't. He was literally left-handed.
And he lives with his friend.
He's a confirmed bachelor. You know what I'm talking about. He gets around.
But no, he would do this thing where he would. So if you're playing and you're doing a fill where you're doing you start with your right hand, and to do those like 16th notes, you start with your right hand, and they'd be like, here's the thing, Ringo would start with his left hand, so it would create this. It would do it slightly different, and you'd listen to it, and you'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But like every fucking person talking about it because they don't want to be on video shitting on Ringo. They really fluff up how you're like
the one interesting fact about him. They're like, "What did you know?" I'm like, "Yes, we all fucking knew that."
And then the other one was what the fuck? They called it like the Ringo swing, which I guess there's all these drummers that like don't get formal training and then they do this one thing weird. But then they just get better at the drums and never stop doing that. So now that then creates, and it's this thing where it's like, no, he started off playing badly and then just just never adjusted this. But he does this weird thing where he like slaps at the cymbal when he's playing it rather than like straightforward. And you're like, once again, it's cool, but it's not like you're really trying to you're really doing a lot of heavy lifting for Ringo.
And that's the thing. I think that's the thing I do with jujitsu a lot of times is I do a lot of things wrong. But I don't mind doing those things wrong because I don't feel like they're bad because I'm able to still succeed. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that you're like, and it's like when a bone, you break a bone and it heals wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like it still heals, but it's also like but now your fucking bone's like this, and you were supposed to have it fucking be straight. And like that's why he's like doing this, and then like you said, you don't even have to become better. He didn't become a better drummer. He's a very consistent drummer. You know what I mean? But he's also, and that's, I wouldn't shit on Ringo just because I don't think he's a bad drummer. I don't think he's fucking amazing. And I don't think he's the most prolific musician of all time ever. But I will say that at least some of Paul McCartney's solo stuff, like a lot of Paul McCartney's solo stuff, he is a very prolific. And I think he's a better drummer than Ringo. I would bet that he's probably a better drummer than Ringo.
Wasn't one of their didn't one of their albums fucking McCartney just
No, he clarified. I think he did record drums like for one track, but it was literally just because I think Ringo wasn't there or like wasn't able to make it back. Like he had done everything else and they're like he's like, I can do them. Is that fine if I track drums like that? It was like that. I literally just heard him explain that in a recent interview. That's really funny.
Oh, and it got turned because it's the more interesting story is to say he did the whole album.
Yeah. They're like we all are all musicians. We're not just playing. We don't just play the instruments we play. If I wrote the drums to this or I can do the drums to this and he doesn't have to do them, why not? Like fuck it.
Well, also yeah.
Why, and like his thing was, it's funny because like it's almost the same thing you're talking about. It's just this one thing that they're doing wrong that becomes their signature because they're left-handed. and it's like it becomes a huge thing, but it's like, but for him it's like it's no big deal. Stop pointing out the thing I'm doing wrong, you weirdos. And they're like, how do you do that? He's like, I don't know. I just do it. I just like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, how do you do it?
I would notice that a lot when I was in jazz band in college because I had a really our instructor and stuff. He was really talented, but I think like there were times where he was definitely being like, everything on this record was an intentional magical decision.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, yeah, he's doing a weird.
Play it again.
There were certain things where they were like, yeah, they're doing a weird tempo thing right here, and I'm like, or it was the 1960s and tape was expensive and you couldn't do a second take.
Boom, there you go. And then, dude, and then jazz is born. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like, every time they're like, it's about the notes they're not playing. I'm like, hey, do you think they could play these not notes ever again the same once? Could they ever do this again this way? They're like, but it's not about that, man. And it's like, so they're jamming. What they're doing, they're jamming. They're hippies. Fuck you.
And I like jazz, but
I don't.
People, because jazz is something to easily get pretentious about, and it's like, it's easy to just be like, oh, you just probably don't get it. Like, because you take any of that shit where it's just like, oh, you just probably don't get it. You probably don't understand because you don't listen to it enough. And I'm like, no, you don't know.
Yeah. You know what? I also don't get why that guy ate shit when the fucking Eagles won the Super Bowl. I don't need to know anything else about it either. I'm not into that either.
What are you referencing?
The shit eating from the guy who when they won the
I
Super Bowl.
I didn't realize you were I forgot that.
At first I was like, wait, was that Andy? Holy shit. Oh my God, Andy, did you eat shit? I'm so sorry.
You're talking about my Uncle Dave. No. I didn't know you meant that literally. And then I'm like, oh wait, that literally happened.
Yeah, the guy, like, that's one of those things like
shit or like fucking did like a swan dive into it.
No, it was like he was like taking handfuls and like into his mouth. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those things. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, I don't get it. I'm okay with that. I don't need to get jazz. I don't like it. If I don't like it, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, so like the splashy cymbals and the hey beep, beep, and then scatting and all that. Most things about jazz, I do understand. I completely understand what you're saying about like, oh yeah, you can get pretentious about it, but like, I don't even like. I just so don't identify with that line of like, because it's literally, if you just called it jamming, I'd be like, I love jazz jamming is so great. But if like the fact that they're like they did it on purpose makes me hate them so much. You didn't do that on purpose.
I'll say this about like, there's now to be completely transparent, like I don't listen to jazz regularly, but like there are times like I know from being in high school and college, like being into a jazz band, like I know for me, I can appreciate it on a separate level where like, say I'm listening to like a big band song and they'll hit like the horns will hit the melody where it'll just be like, bah, 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 da, 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 da. And like that doesn't sound that crazy, but being in jazz, like you'll hear it, say it'll be like the Count Basie Orchestra and like the unison of it and how tight it is on the recording.
Yeah.
Like from how many times I've played in jazz bands in high school and college where you get to that big part and the trumpets just eat their dick on it. Like it just makes you appreciate it being like just them locking in that. So they could literally just be playing ba ba da da, but like if they lock in on it perfectly, you can just appreciate it. But at the same time, I've listened to some avant-garde shit where I'm like, I feel like you. I'm like, you're jamming, you're bullshitting us, suck a dick.
Yeah. Like, and that, like you said, it's like the reason you recorded this album here was because you could only afford one night, and you did fuck up a bunch of times, but you saved it, which is great, which is still a talent, but it's also jamming. I do that too. It's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like I used to do it in a fucking pizza place, and we got paid in pizza and beer. And and we would run an open mic where we brought all of the instruments. We would open up the show with the first 15-minute set, and then everybody gets their 15-minute sets. They could use our instruments, and whoever needed, like, so if you had a guitar player and you needed a bass player and a drummer, I would play and Big D would play, and then
you're a goddamn hero, by the way.
What?
No, because like I remember when I was in a band, we would try to hit up those music. Well, no, we would hit up this one music open mic because they were the only one that had a drum set at it. So like my whole band would go there, and Yeah, but also too, you'd have these people who would fucking, they'd be like, all right, you get 3 songs or whatever, but that wouldn't include them setting up for 5 minutes and this and that. So the idea that you would have all that readily available makes you like a goddamn saint.
And not only that, but also if you're like, oh yeah, I play, I play guitar, or I sing, or I do poetry or whatever. Like, I want this, or like whatever it was like cool. If you want a bass player, I'd play. If you want the band, we'd play something behind you, and it would always. So that's why that's why whenever I hear jazz, I'm like, it sounds cool. Yeah, it sounds cool, man. It splashes, baby. I don't hate the sound of it, but I think it's the pretentiousness of it. I think
Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't like the craftsmanship of it. And I think big band and like orchestral stuff, to me, like compositions like that are incredibly impressive. And I think there is a bit of a difference, but I do understand the correlation you're talking about of that.
Yeah,
Like when you have the sting of the horn section, or like anything, or like just the perfect like I love a xylophone. My favorite thing is when a xylophone like is perfectly executed, and when they got the Wolverine mallets, and they got like 3 or 4 of them like hanging out, and they're fucking, you know what I mean? Like they have like this,
yeah.
like this, and then they have like another one. They have like the pen here. And
Oh
then
yeah,
they're
no,
just,
they would use, when I was in a marching band, we would have the pit, which would be all the like
fucking
xylophones, vibraphones, all those. And yeah, you would have a bunch of kids doing the fucking, they would only do 2 mallets per hand, but that's still wild.
it's incredible. They just chaka bra, and they can do spooky speaking up, they spooky music, or they can do like the sneaking up on you. You know what I mean? Like, but like when you play like a fucking pop song on a xylophone, I get hyped every single time. I love a xylophone. They get me hyped. I love it. I any percussive instrument, really, a timpani. I fucking love jamming on a timpani. It's those things that like if you have any time, and that's why we ran that mic like that, was that way, because we wanted to be the best musicians we could be. Like, so, and then a lot of times if somebody was like, I want somebody to drum, it was like, I could try, like, he's busy right now, but I could try. Like I'm pretty good on drums, and that's how I learned, because you just fucking jam. It was just a jam fucking thing, and I get it, but I also was like, I was trying to get more discipline through reps, essentially.
Okay.
And I feel like if jazz just admitted it and said, we're trying to get reps in so we can be a fucking decent orchestra,
Just
and I would
be
respect them
honest
so
with
more
me.
to her. Be honest, Jazz. Come on, Jazz. Put it all on the table, would you, Jazz?
Fuck yeah. All right.
Look at
Well,
you, Jazz.
I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at you,
out.
Jazz.
We're calling you out, Jazz. All right, man. This has been a great episode, but we gotta wrap this one up. We're giving them too much. Dude.
I was joking with Ron. I was like, sometimes I feel like this show could be called "I Agree with Me."
I agree with me. That's fucking great. That's fucking great. So for the next episode, I want to go with another traditional subject that we. What?
I'm excited. We also have a bonus stream coming up too. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, we
don't
do.
forget
We got a boner stream on Wednesday. What's the date?
Wednesday the Wednesday.
Yep. That day.
27th.
Yeah. 27th, we will be we're continuing the Taking Back Sunday saga with fucking Jason Simpson. I think I we'll see how it goes, but we may have him just come on for all TBS albums, cuz they're a big band for me, they're a big band for Jay, and we love talking about them, and I love making Pat listen to emo music. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about feelings and all that stuff. And what is it again? Emotions? I've only read it. I've never said it. Emotions?
I've only read about them. I've never expressed them.
What are emotions? Are those important?
So what I wanted to do, because also too, YouTube, people on YouTube, they're suckers for a list. So I wanted to, and I was very curious about this. I wanted to do our personal and top five punk songs, but punk. We talked about it before on like the second episode. Punk rock's a very general term. So I want to get a little bit more specific. And I'm looking to you, Pat. What's like a specific genre of punk that you would want to dip into?
A specific genre, but the first go-to for me, and I don't know if I would necessarily, because this is funny, because I was thinking about our perspective of genre, not just, I believe it was yesterday. I was listening to a song by the band called The Queers, and that is a band much like Screeching Weasel or another band that I would categorize as a pop punk band.
Really?
Where
Okay.
where you would also, I believe, categorize pop punk as. So I think much like most genres, I think there's a spectrum, and I think we can use our better judgment.
Well, and also too, it'd be very curious. I'd be very curious if we're gonna do something like pop punk, like you said. My definition would be very like if you said Screeching Weasel. Not that I've listened to a lot of them, but I wouldn't pick them as pop punk. So honestly, I'd be very curious what then you consider to be whatever.
So maybe that's the show. You have your top 5 pop punk songs. I have my top 5 pop punk songs.
Hell yeah!
There's your show.
There we go. Next week, me and Pat will be discussing our personal top 5 pop punk songs. And I will ask you, as long as they're on Spotify, as long as they're not like those pesky Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. L-E-D. I swear to God, I was sitting there typing it. Leddzepplen. And I was like, where the fuck are they?
Oh, see, I would have pictured you just going like, all right, Lead. Led Zeppelin. All right, so yeah, just hit me up. No rush on them because I don't want you to do a shitty list. Even if you don't have them till fucking Sunday morning, hit me with the playlist whenever you got it,
okay,
and I'll do the same for you.
I have one in mind already that I'm very excited about. That I'm excited to listen to No Doubt. I'm gonna listen to No Doubt this week. I'm gonna listen to fucking a lot of Screeching Weasels probably. But I think that's the thing is spectrum of music, and I think both of us share a very similar. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this particular genre of a top 5 list because a category I was gonna name. Yeah, you're gonna make it. You got a note there, buddy?
I already got one.
You're gonna have to whittle down. I think we're both gonna have like a big whittling down week ahead of us. And you know what? How many, if at all, should we allow honorable mentions?
I mean, don't go crazy.
Have 1 or 2 maybe.
Yeah, we can have some honorable mentions because it's gonna be hard.
But I was gonna say there was one, and I think it's a genre that I created, so I don't even know if it's a real genre, but something known as new school punk. It's basically No Use for a Name, Lagwagon, No Effects, like the fast, blast beat kind of punk.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you like
new school punk? Is that what you would call that?
That's what I called them my whole life, and I think I just created that genre. Strung Out would be kind of another one that's similar to that.
Interesting. I'd have to listen to those bands to get sort of.
Yeah, it's harder to really narrow down exactly, but like that 90s like punk, like it's really hard to California punk. I know it's really hard to say. But I'm excited. So that's why I think pop punk is a better category to start out with because it's harder. It's the easiest, I think, to explain.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hell yeah, buddy.
All right, we fucking did it. Thanks for hanging out. I'm not Pat. He's not Andy. And as always, we love you.